MICAH Beats activated.
Welcome to Just Therapy, where we talk about life with a comedy twist. With your hosts, comedian Sean Boyd, Antonio Ferguson, and Miss KT. We talk about a whole bunch of shit from politics to people actually taking shits. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the therapy session. Man, this be dope. Make a motherfucker want to rap. I can't rap, man. Hold on, here we go. I can't rap. I really can't. But come sit down on the couch with us. Man, I can't rap. Come to the couch. Enjoy the show. Let's go. Just another day on the couch, talking about all the problems of today. Welcome back to another episode of Just Therapy. I am your host, comedian Sean Boyd. It is another beautiful Monday evening, y'all. Woo! It's been a long weekend. It's been a good weekend. I got my guy with me. We starting it early. We bringing him straight in. This is my guy. I met him doing comedy. Good friend of mine. I call him my brother from another mother. My guy from Chicago, well, in Chicago, from Cleveland, way of Cleveland, whatever, how the fuck you want to say it. My main guy, Tyler motherfucking Ross. What's going on with the fam?
What's up, everybody? Hey, thanks for having me, Sean. Yeah, I was gonna say it's funny. Like you think back, we met probably about 12 years ago at this point. Doing the mic in Kent, and yeah, I think I took you to go see your first hockey game because of me. If that's correct,
yes, that is absolutely 100% correct. It was one of those things where comics, we support each other, man. And you was in college at the time, and you was the goalie. I don't know if you want to shout out the school.
Sure, yeah. I spent two great years at Kent State before dropping out. So thanks for the time. Good luck in the NCAA March Madness. I'm pulling for you. I have a personal rule. I always gamble on the school that I owe student loan money to. Both were a gamble, so one's maybe I'll pay the other off. Who knows? We'll see. So let's go Golden Flashes.
Hey, that's what's up. But yeah, man, you was the goalie, and you was like, "Hey, you want to come to a hockey game?" And you asked a couple comments, and I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I'll go." Shit.
Yeah.
And it was definitely cold as shit in there, but it was fun watching that. And
that's not even that bad of a rink, Sean. That's not even as cold as they can get. That's
no, I know that I know, but it was cold as shit. But I had a great time watching you do your damn thing.
Oh yeah.
And you actually got me into kind of hockey. You know what I'm saying? I ended up going later on when my one dude from Youngstown invited me to the Monsters. Is that who we got?
Yeah, Lake Erie Monsters.
Yeah. So I was there when they had the run and they won the small Stanley Cup. I don't know what it's called for
the Calder Cup. Yeah, I know. I got you. Cup.
So I was there for that, which was dope as fuck. And like I was there for the playoffs all the way up to the final game because I couldn't get tickets to the final game because he already had them divvied out.
Sure,
but I was so into it, I made sure I streamed it and I watched it, and they won, and that's what started the Cleveland roll because then the Cavs won, and then the Indians got cheated. So
the rain delay that was,
Yeah, we should have had 3 ships in a row, man. So
let me tell you, nothing worse than living like less than 12 blocks away from Wrigley Field when they won. I mean, till like 5 a.m, people were just honking horns, shooting off fireworks. That was my life for like the 24 hours after.
Damn.
And everyone knew I worked at a school then, and everyone knew I was a Cleveland fan. So when I got to school the next day, I was hearing it from students, staff, any other person that was around, the cafeteria people. I was getting it from everybody.
Not the cafeteria was even shitting on you. That's crazy.
Yeah, everyone. I mean, I would wear my jersey, Target on the back, and then of course came back.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, everyone's like, "Did you see the game?" Like, haha, very funny.
Yeah, we got cheated, but whatever. So it's funny that you said people was out until 5 a.m. I mean, that's how it was when we won the ship for the Cavs, man. And that was like the best Father's Day of my entire life. Dead serious, because I had softball that day. We had 2 games, doubleheader, and both teams was like, hey, somebody got to whoop somebody's ass real fast these 2 games, because like we got to, and so it really didn't matter. Like the person that got up the quickest, the other team, we kind of like folded and was like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? We ended up winning that turn, you know what I'm saying, the whole ship for that league, which was crazy as shit. But
what was it, a rock, paper, scissors to end the game just to keep it going quick?
I don't remember what it was, but we was like, let's get this shit over with.
Yeah.
So I went home, grabbed my son, took a shower real fast, and it was hot. It was a hot ass day. I got my bottle of 18 silver in my book bag with my company issued iPad. We had to walk from West 25th over the bridge to downtown.
Okay.
You know Cleveland, so it's a nice walk. But me and my son, we draped in Cavs gear, all that, walking, watching the game. By the time we get there, it's like the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. We get into the watch party. And when we won, I'm talking about I was crying and sweating at the same time. It was the best Father's Day ever, because I had my son with me and we finally won a championship. And I was literally in the middle of the fucking street, right by the LeBron mural at that time. In the middle of the street. It's like 4 or 5 lanes on each side, like 3 lanes on each side.
Yeah.
People just riding slow, honking their horn, high-fiving me from their car. Cops was rolling by like, roop, roop, high-fiving me. We didn't get home until like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, because
I believe it.
Partied so damn hard. It was a beautiful damn day, man.
Yeah, I remember being in a bar in Chicago, crying in the bar, like, I can't believe it. We're not a joke anymore. We really won one. They can never say we didn't.
Yep.
It was amazing. Some guy in a Warriors jersey down the bar came over, like shook my hand, like
nice.
Yeah, it was like a real Chicago moment, because there's so many people from all over the country rooting for random teams, that you have these like random like cross city or whatever, and it just felt like community. It was respectful, and it was great.
Nice. Yeah, that shit was dope. I was in there like, we did it. Why not us? I was like, I still got the video. I watch it every time it, come up in my memories. I'm like, why not us? I told you we could do it. Why not us? I'm crying. I'm sweating. I'm feeling good. Like tears of joy. Crying hard, dude. It was silly. Like me and my son was on the news like 3 fucking times that night.
That's awesome.
Because they was interviewing us and everything, and dude, and that, man, it was just a dope ass night, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh shit, that's funny. All right, let's get to you, man. Let's talk about it. So you're a comedian, away from Cleveland, went to Chicago. How did you get into comedy, bro?
So honestly, kind of comes back to hockey. I did, grow up playing hockey in Cleveland. Not a lot of hockey to be played, so a lot of travels to like similar to now. Like on the weekend, I'd be driving to Michigan. We'd be driving to Canada. We'd be driving to Pittsburgh for like games and things. And it was one of those things where we didn't really listen to music on the road. We would kind of just listen to like comedy albums in the car. And we were like renting them from the library. That's like the times it was. So we go rent like Jerry Seinfeld. We rent like the different blue collar guys.
Yeah.
And eventually my parents got like Sirius Radio or XM or whatever it was at the time. We'd listen to the comedy channels. And that was like how we like rolled around. It was just me. It was just always listening to stand-up comedy. So
nice.
It was a thing that like I always knew I was very interested. Was like, so those are my heroes, like those people, like listening to Jerry Seinfeld, listening to like Mitch Hedberg, like Pablo Francisco probably was one of my favorite comedians back in the day because of his clips on those like Sirius XM shows, or like on like Premium Blend at the time that was always on. Comedy Central. So yeah, it was just stuff like that. And then got to college, and there was just a certain point where I was like, how did someone become a stand-up comedian? And I think we all have that thing of like, I guess you don't really realize like, oh, you just start showing up. And at one point I looked like, oh, where do I just go show up? And
Right.
the Euro Gyro in Kent happened to be that first place I showed up at.
Yeah.
I did the thing where I watched the mic once too before I did it or signed up. Like I went and watched for a whole time.
Okay.
And being a comic now, I realized like all of you guys saw and recognized like, oh, someone's sitting here just watching the whole thing. Like, so I think everyone, like when I think back on it, being there with the people I was there with, everyone was I was like such a positive, like, yeah, we got an audience member here. And it's like, no, sorry, I'm just doing research to like become on the other side like you guys next week. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. That's what's up. Yeah, the Gyro was the spot, man. That's where that I used to call the Gyro definitely my gym. Every Sunday, and like I used to go to the Funny Stop a lot. That's where I started, was the Funny Stop Comedy Club. And so luckily Pete liked me right away, and he would let me come in every Thursday when they had the national acts coming in and give me 10 minutes before the feature. And dude, it helped me grow so much. So that was my gym. Gyro's my gym. Like, and we met a lot of good people at the Gyro. That was the spot to be at, man.
Let me tell you, I was there about a month or two ago.
Okay.
Maybe a little longer than that. It has not changed. It's like being in the exact same bar with like just different faces that have like plugged in the different roles. Like there's the group that talks, doesn't care, stares for 3 seconds, goes back to what they're doing. Always a line of people that are confused because they have heard you talk for 5 minutes, but still have no idea what's going on somehow.
Right.
And it's just, it amazed me. It like literally amazed me. I felt like I walked through a time portal walking in and seeing it. But yeah, the Funny Stop, same thing. Like, and this is kind of like what happened was like, I was going to the Funny Stop every week for amateur night, pop in once at least for on the weekend to see the show. And then one time, like they're on just a Wednesday, because they were doing Wednesday shows back then. Host didn't show up. I was there, got to hosted the rest of the weekend. And that was before the hockey season kind of started. And I was like, man, if I had games, I wouldn't be able to host this weekend. So it really put me at a spot of like, all right, here's a gut check. Like, what do I want to do? And I was like, I'm not going to be a professional goalie. I was like, I'm going to try to be doing this. And it was all fun and games, but yeah, it's like, I really lost that competitive drive. I was like, I'm going to just do this instead. This will be fine.
So you gave up hockey to be a fucking comedian, dude. Like, no.
I feel like you say give up, it gives me a lot more like I had a future with it than I did. Like I was playing it, and sure, like there's a million different like pro leagues in different European countries in theory. Like if another timeline, like I'm living in Austria or something playing hockey, sure. But also like, like I said, this was always something I like admired and really looked up to. I liked hockey, and I don't know if you were like this with when I was playing sports. I never really watched sports because I was like, I'm playing. I don't want to sit and watch the thing I'm always like playing. But you know how it is. Like if you're a great athlete, you watch film all the time, not only yourself, like other people. And I was not really great at that. And I think that's like a passion thing, deep seated, if I really want to dive into it a lot. But the more I was like diving into stand up, watching myself over and over again, watching other things, taking notes on that, I was like, wow, I was a lot more passionate in this than I thought, like until I started doing it. So I don't think I gave up anything, because again, I don't think like I was great, okay, for like Kent State University, but I don't think it was much larger than that.
That's what I mean. I thought you like I didn't know what to compare you to, so I thought you was good.
I appreciate the confidence in me. I appreciate that. That is nice where like people that just don't know stuff. It's similar with comedy stuff. Like people see you do pictures, they're like, wow, you must be like on America's Got Talent almost. And you're like, if you believe that, go for it. Sure.
Right.
Like, right there.
Right. So what made you transition to Chicago? What made you do the move to Chicago?
So I always knew I was going to get out of Ohio. I was ready. I wanted to be in like a different kind of scene, not near my like. So, I mean, I guess personally, I moved away with another comedian at the time I was dating to Denver, and like you knew, again, another person met at the Gyro. We started dating. I was 21, so any decision I made at that point doesn't
I almost
actually
forgot
count.
about that. My bad.
No, it's okay. It's so funny because like I moved to, so if you're just meeting me, it's fine. I'm over it. But I moved to Denver with a girl. Didn't work out, and I was like, you know what? I've already moved. Why don't I just move to Chicago? So I literally like this is my favorite story to tell about this, so it makes me seem like I got over it. We were flying. We had a flight scheduled like to go back to Ohio like 2 weeks before it happened. Like it was already scheduled. 2 weeks later, we were gonna fly back.
Okay.
I had bought the tickets, so I just moved her seat to the back middle seat of the plane. I know, like that was the best. Like, you know, I'm not really petty. I'm not get angry, but if I can do like tiny little like shitty things, like that's like my wheelhouse of trolling. Like putting someone in the back where the bathroom is in the middle seat. That's the worst seat on the plane. So like
gosh.
that was my retribution that I got to have. So but yeah, then I just was like, once I was in Ohio, I was like, I'll just get on a megabus and move to Chicago. Another person, friend Chris Clement just moved there, so it was like another person, like friendly face to kind of get to hang out with and see, and like really helped me. Like can't stress enough, really helped me when I first moved there to kind of like get situated and everything. So yeah, he was an instrumental part of me like getting situated, and yeah, I've been here about almost like 10 years at this point. I think I just celebrated my 10-year anniversary in February.
Nice. What's going on, Shonda? Thanks for tuning in. I know we got some other couches here. She said, definition of petty. Yes, that is the definition of petty. For
Shonda,
sure.
what's the most petty thing you've ever done? You got it. No one wants to sit in the back of the plane. That's the last person to get off the plane, and you just watch people stand in front of you. I wholeheartedly disagree with that comment, Ashley.
Oh, that's hilarious. Ashley, I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you. She said, no, baby, you got to sit in the back.
Oh, man.
Hey, that's petty as fuck, but that's hilarious. That is fucking hilarious.
It felt really good to do, you know, because, like, you know, people will, like, burn stuff or throw stuff on the front lawn.
Uh-huh.
Mine's minor inconveniences when traveling. That's really my wheelhouse. So, yeah. And then Chicago's great.
Hey, congratulations. Matter of fact, congratulations to you and the fam for finally tying a knot after 80 years of being together and shit. Not 80, but still. Then she gonna say, I invited my ex-husband to the wedding. Now, that's the definition of petty right
That's
there.
awesome. That's great. That's great.
Oh, shit. So now being in Chicago and being established, man, you know, tell us what's your next moves, man.
Yeah, so I actually, the long-term plan right now is okay. That's really funny. I'm gonna buy a bunch of keys and put a tag on them if it lost call.
Lisa, thanks for watching. She gonna say buy a bunch of keys, put a tag on them that says if lost call number of person you want to annoy, and then lead them all over the place. That's hilarious. I like that.
So yeah, May 20th, I'm actually going to be recording my like first album. It's being filmed and like audio recorded. So May 20th, Funny Stop Comedy Club. So yeah, so that's
Falls, Ohio. So if you in town, come out. What date is that again?
So Saturday, May 20th, we're doing 2 recordings, 2 shows. There's, I think it's 7 and 9:30 are the show times, but go on the website, check it out for yourself. Cool. So yeah, I'm there Friday as well, but Saturday's the shows we're recording. So if you want to see the practice version, come on Friday. But yeah, that's been cool. I'm really excited for that. So I'm going on the road to do a bunch of one-off shows all over. I set up myself to like prep the album and run it. So I'm going to Oklahoma next week. I'll be in like Texas. I'll be in Arkansas. I'm going out to New Mexico. We're going to Arizona. So I'm just hitting spots all over.
That's what's up.
And just running it just to get it beat out as much as I can. So
there you go. That's what's up, man. Well, yeah, definitely keep doing your thing, man. I didn't watch you from the beginning. It's been a pleasure to watch you grow and keep being funny, man. I definitely appreciate it. So, But yeah, so let's get into the nitty gritty.
Let's go.
We always do a recap of what happened with us this weekend. So my weekend was busy as shit. Thursday, I end up going to do an open mic at Crackpots Comedy Club. And anytime I go down there, because like I get booked a headline there all the time. So he's like, you want to do 20 minutes? I'm like, of course. You know what I'm saying? Because like I ain't been on stage since the second week of December. Which
who says no to time? You know,
dude. Like, for the open mic, 20 minutes. Yeah, exactly. Because you know me, I'm trying to do more time anyway. You know how I go. So
yeah, I get it.
But so I went down, to kind of knock the rust off. But it don't be no rust there. It's just going down there to fuck around with some new shit, tag some old shit to the new shit, all that good stuff. So did that on Thursday. That was cool. Then I celebrated my 14th year in comedy on Friday. So appreciate it.
I'm doing the back, but you can't hear it.
So that was cool. Doing that video that I put on my Facebook page was pretty dope as well. Like I really felt that shit because I had the song Anniversary playing in the background, which is one of my favorite all-time songs anyway.
Hell yeah.
And just celebrating 14 years, thinking about where I started at and how I got on the grind and how I took off and like real fast and then just kept doing it. So it was a beautiful day, man. So
yeah, I remember starting, it was like you and the other crop of people. It was fun to like look up and like, it's when you're starting like people like you or you think people you look up to or like put you on a show and then you do stuff, it's like a fun, definitely someone, I remember the Vortex when it was before even the Vortex and it was like freezing cold in that place because they didn't have the heat on any time. And
yes.
I think I cracked the mirror one time moving the mic stand and the mirror throws off your like depth perception. So I remember like it was the first or second show and I just was like, and there's just like spider web crack in the glass. So
I remember that day, great. Man. That shit was funny.
Yeah.
The owner was like, man, don't worry about it.
I mean, it couldn't get much worse than how it was at that point.
It really couldn't have. So yeah, so that was Friday. And then I hung out with where I call her my sis, she near and dear to my heart, Miss KT. She the other host that pop in every now and then. So so I hung out with her and a couple friends. We had like a little game night. So that was cool just to get out and about and be an adult. Because I only get to do that like every other weekend, having full custody of little mama, man. So, when I get to get out and be an adult, I try to book a show and at least hang out, do something fun. Saturday had a show in Cleveland, actually in Euclid, but same difference.
It's all that's the same.
Yeah. So one of the Lex Vegas shows. So big shout out to him. It was an awesome lineup. And it's funny because first show I did for him, he had me go like third or fourth or whatever. And I don't care. Like as long as my money right, I don't care where I go. Like
I feel the exact same way. Yeah.
I'm one of them comics. I ain't got a headline. I don't care. Like I'll go first. It don't matter. As long as my money is my money. Like I don't care where I go.
A comic asked me recently to go first on the lineup. He's like, listen, we really want someone that we know could like just also go first because we want to kick off the energy in a good way. Because like, the normal show, if you were to think about it, it's like, oh, well, why don't we put the newer person to like more advanced? But like the show can kind of get a little derailed by that point. So if someone like, hey, we want you to go first to like put the energy up right off the bat, like that's fine with me. I'm not going to be like, I have to be third or later. The show, like, I don't care. Put me on the show wherever you want. Anyway,
right, pretty much, because the money ain't gonna change. So I'm cool with that. So I went in thinking like I was gonna be first or third or whatever, and I looked at the lineup and I was like, oh, I'm last, and I'm like, oh, now you respect me. No, I'm just fucking with him. So like, but I wasn't ready to go last. But it's like whatever. I don't care where I go. And, like the lineup was stacked. And I went up there and did my motherfucking thing. I had a blast. I blazed that bitch up, just having fun. And it's funny because anytime I do a show around my anniversary, I always do my original closer.
Okay.
And that shit still hits. It is crazy. 14 years later, the original closer still hits. And I still know exactly how that joke went. And that's
which joke is this? I'm trying to like remember.
That's the three pregnant ladies in the doctor's office getting a checkup.
I think
and
I
the
remember
babies
it.
is having a conversation with themselves.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. That joke. So I like it. It's funny because like my uncle gave me that joke when I was like 10 years old. I remember him telling that joke. And for some reason, when I started comedy, that was my closer. And so it stuck with me. But so yeah, that was Saturday. Then Sunday, picked up little mama. We went to Nick Jabor's. His son turned 3. They had a birthday party at the Funny Stop. Because you know,
Nice.
they family big as shit. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? He Lebanese, his wife Asian, and they got a shit ton of family. So it was nice as shit. So I got to eat some Lebanese and some Asian food, which is, oh my gosh, it's
That's
so
the
damn
best.
good.
Yeah.
And I've been working out lately, so I ain't got the appetite like I used to. So I was pissed. But, so I ate good and was full quick as shit. And then I took some home. But when I was putting little mama in the car, I put it on top of the car
You drove it away?
and drove away.
Uh,
That just let me know I ain't need to be a fat kid again when I got home to eat that shit. So I was like, all right, whatever. So
that's the worst.
so that was my weekend. How was your weekend, brother?
This weekend was great. I went Friday. I was actually in Iowa City. I was headlining the Joystick Comedy Arcade. They do a 9:30 show. I brought my friend Dylan, who I take on the road with me, and we toured a lot.
Nice.
And it's funny because it's in a college bar, so I'm back in college bars. But what's worse is it's a karaoke bar after the show. So headlining is really tough. It's great being like a middle act because everyone's kind of there for the show, starts to watch it. But then as the headliner, the longer the show goes, towards the end of it, it's all these people just waiting to do karaoke. So that was Friday in Iowa City with a bunch of college kids. So that was fine. It was literally, it was chill.
All right, that's what's up. Got the original co-host. Wanted to say hi.
Oh, hi there. How's it going? What's new? What's going on? Do you have any funny news you want to tell us?
No,
just silly nose jokes.
She just want to make faces.
That is the most fun thing to do. Oh my gosh!
And do her claw. All right, get your ass out of here.
That's awesome. Oh yeah, man. That's great.
But yeah, that's what's up. So, and as always, y'all know we like to let you get into our past, and we like to do one childhood memory, just to let you keep up on who we are and stuff like that. Give me one childhood memory, Tyler.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this, and it's not a one specific, but it's a thing that happened a lot. So I lived in a really small part of Ohio. It was a township, wasn't even a city. It's called Newberry. They have since disbanded it. It doesn't even exist anymore. They disbanded the township. So it was so small that the kids on my street, we had to walk to the end of the street to get the bus because it would just go along the main road. It wouldn't come down like the cold. It did for years, and then they just stopped doing it. They were like, we don't have enough money for the bus to go around the cul-de-sac. Yeah, tough times out here in these Newberry, Ohio streets. But for whatever reason, like my one of my fondest childhood memories is just walking up and down the street, just being kids goofing off with myself and the other neighborhood kids. And it's this thing where it feels like a movie when you think about it. You're walking up the street and each household sees, oh, we're going, and they join up with the group, and it just by the end of the street, it's just a little gang of friends hanging out. So I don't know why that's such a distinct memory, but also wind, cold, snow, rain. We were walking up every single time. Every once in a while we'd be running late. So one of the families, parents would grab the van, and we'd all just hop in it and get shot down the street. We gotta get there in time for the thing.
Right.
So yeah, that was just the thing I always remember, was because I took the school bus to and from school, but it was a tiny little town, so can't make too many stops apparently.
Nice. That's what's up. So yeah, I guess I give a childhood memory. I was gonna skip it, but so one of my childhood memories, let's go to middle school. I remember when I had a
Oh no,
girlfriend about this.
but we're freezing.
Okay. So I had a girlfriend at the time. One of my jokes is about this, but I'm not gonna go into the joke part. But I remember like we had these like kind of like almost U-shaped locker sections. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
a lot of times that was like the makeout area. You know what I'm saying? So I remember my best friend. He had his girlfriend, and then it's funny because her best friend was my girlfriend at the time, and we was in the corners making out. You know what I'm saying? And that was like one of them times where you kind of remember, especially as a fat kid, like, oh, I'm getting some playouts put on her butt, getting my kiss on and shit. You know what I'm saying? But
I always forget the like fat kid part of like aspect of you. I can never picture it. That's why it's like so funny whenever you're like you tell a story. It's like a context I just never expect.
right. Oh yeah, I used to be the fat kid. I had all the fucked up nicknames. So definitely.
But you're still
All the
making
fucked
out
up
in the
nicknames.
hallway. So
Yeah,
hell yeah.
man. Yep. They used to give it to me, but I think that's what gave me my thick skin. So, and helped me, be quick with the comebacks and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to have to give it to everybody for talking shit. So, that's just how it was growing up. You know what I'm saying? It made us tough. You know what I'm saying? So
I was never a fat kid, but being a goalie because you're like the odd person out on the team, man,
okay.
target number one my whole life. And
Really?
oh yeah, it was because it's like this, like all the people that are like forwards, they have like their line mates. There's like a center, left wing. They're a group. The defensemen, they have like partners, their defensive partners that they play with, and then there's just me getting
By
ready by
yourself.
myself. So it's like easy pickings, and not to mention double childhood memory you're getting. My nickname, because I was very skinny, my parents cleverly nicknamed me T-Bone. So all my stuff would be like hockey stuff would say like T-Bone on it. No joke. This old helmet right here, it's so funny. It says T-Bone on it, on the very front. This is the first one I ever got painted. Boy, I was called Boner for almost most of my life because of that. It was just like the easiest connection anyone could ever make. Like kids are very uncreative, and it would suck because like you're like embarrassed as a kid to like tell your parents like kind of a nickname like that because it's a little like sexual in a weird way, but like it's not. So you don't want to tell your parents and like snitch on like, oh, the kids are calling me this nickname, but meanwhile they're like, guess what? We just got you a new warm-up coat and it says T-Bone on it. And you're like, ugh, we're still with this. Like, how do I get out of this nickname, so I can get away from this other nickname?
Oh, shit. That's fucked up.
Yeah, not very fun.
Oh, man. That's funny. All right. And if you a faithful coucher and if you new to the couch, we always do a segment called Flowers While They're Still Here. We like to give people flowers while they still here so they can smell the roses instead of being conditioned like we are so often to give people flowers while they dead and gone. This week, my flowers are going to go to, of course, my guest. Like, I mean, this guy.
Oh, that's so sweet.
For real. So this guy, when I met you, man, you was like so fucking cool, right? I was like 2 years in. I was, trying to, do shows, and I started traveling early, and then just the support you gave, I wanted to, reciprocate that support. That's why I came to the hockey games. We hung out plenty of times, when I was smoking weed long ass time ago. It seems so long ago because I stopped so long ago, which is crazy as shit. And I remember saying something to you actually when I stopped smoking weed, and I was like, dude, I don't know if I can do this. And you was like, but you're funny. Like, it's you.
Yeah.
Why are you worried about it? Dude, I was scared shitless. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be funny because I was always high on stage.
Yeah.
And he was just like, dude, you're funny. Like, it's you. And
yeah.
So like that just helped me, kind of break that fear that wasn't even there, that wasn't real.
Okay, that's awesome.
To get back on stage, man. I ain't never tell you that shit either.
Yeah, but that's really cool to hear, man. That's awesome.
But you telling me that and being straight up with me, like, helped me like overcome that false fear that was there because it was me. I was funny, And so when I got back up on stage, because I took a week off, dude, they wasn't doing no shows, no nothing. And I was like, fuck it, I got to get back on stage. Tyler said ours already funny. So, and just like, you know, how you helped out, you know, with the fundraiser that we do every year, the suicide awareness fundraiser, because you know how close Jen was to both of us. I know, especially you went to school with her and grew up with her.
She was with me the first time we came to Eurogyro, and the first time I went and did stand up. Like, yeah, she was. I mean, yeah, along the way all the time. Got her tattooed on my leg still. You know.
Yeah, man. So just being a part of that fundraiser meant a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? Because like even when you left for Chicago, you would come back. You know, when you could to come and do that fundraiser, man. Which, like I said, meant a lot to me. So today you are getting your flowers to me, which are well deserved. So Tyler Ross, you getting your flowers today, my brother.
Oh, thanks, Sean.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep it. I'm going to keep it within the same, I guess, theme of someone I want to give flowers. Started with, I absolutely killing it, and I'm gonna give a huge shout out to Ben Palmer. Like he's my flowers, big time.
There you go.
Someone that I, you know, already was impressed with when he was living in Ohio and everything he was doing. He turns it up to, you know, Hope That Helps, becoming his next like amazing thing that he starts this whole trolling empire basically. And Ben Palmer is just, it makes me so happy when someone that I knew that I started with, I get shown something of theirs. Like there's so many people in your life that you like knew in some capacity at some point for longer for others. And, you know, to see like if someone pulls up a video or someone shares stuff and it's Ben, it's like, dude, that's like one of the guys, you know, it's like one of the people. And like, yeah, you know, you go back to like weird random smoking stories or whatever, like just kicking it or weird gig things. Like Ben is that guy that like I just remember. So seeing him and everything that he's putting out there. And if you haven't looked up Ben Palmer Trolls, Hope That Helps, please absolutely go look it up. It is some of the funniest shit you will see. But yeah, he's just someone that flowers. Ben Palmer, I love the guy.
That's my guy. You know, that's my guy. I consider him my little brother for sure. He's literally like the younger white version of me. Like,
yeah.
Cause like both our parents was in the church. They both, you know, was together, and you know what I'm saying. Like me and that dude, we got tons of stories, and like you know, he's been on the podcast. He ain't been on the live one yet. I'm sure I'm bringing his ass back, but. It's funny because like every now and then he'll post that damn video of us being on Judge Alex and shit. And then my phone will start blowing up. Hey, I seen this video of you on the Judge show. And I'm like, yeah, that was like 11 fucking years ago, 12 years ago. But yeah, I was actually there. They'd be like, is this you? I'm like, what do you think, motherfucker? Like, I just ain't got gray hair. I'm like, you know, it looked just like me. Shit.
Yeah.
So it's cool, man. That's always been my guy. So yeah, he definitely deserves flowers, man.
Hell yeah.
So Ben Palmer, you getting your flowers today again.
Absolutely.
Man. Yes. All right. So our first topic tonight is double standards. I don't know if you've been following the post this week, but we are talking double standards, and we gonna talk Chris Rock, but that's gonna come at the back end of the show. I want to start with double standards because there's a lot of double standards. There's double standards for guys. There's double standards for ladies. Like one of the double standards for guys is that we can just have sex with any women we want, and we're not called a hoe or anything like that. But if a woman do the same thing a man does, we calling them a slut, a hoe, all that shit, which is a double standard, which is not fair to anybody. Period. Point blank. It ain't fair to women at all. You know, and then like I guess the whore word for guys is a man whore and stuff like that, but it's too many double standards. Another double standard is, unfortunately, when teachers or older females have relations with an underage person, right? We see it a lot. We hear it a lot. I don't know why, but I don't know what these teachers be going through. But so
it's one of those things too, just to jump in there. Like, every new teacher you hear it comes out, you're like, you think this is the high school student that knows how to keep a secret? You know what I mean? Like, you think this is the one that like knows better, and you're gonna be the one that like gets away with it when so many have it? Like, get the hell out of there. This is a kid that you're like giving him the very few things he has to look forward to in life, and you think he's not gonna like mention it to his closest friends to brag about, again, the best achievement you can have at that point in your life, basically, is getting it, having sex. Is, of course you're like telling everyone. You're like, even people that aren't are gonna be bragging about it. Whenever those situations are happening, I'm sure there's just as many people that before were like saying it, but it wasn't true about teacher, different students. So when it actually happens, like, what are you thinking? I don't know. That's always my takeaway whenever I see those.
Yeah, and the funny part about it is even the kids that don't say nothing, they friends catch on to the shit, and the friends say something. And the kid would be like, no, that ain't happening, blah, blah, blah. No, I seen you with that teacher way too much. Something's happening. And they end up telling, and then somebody end up investigating, and then it come out. So, because like that, the movie That's My Boy is one of my favorite fucking hilarious Adam Sandler movies, where it talks about the first teacher that got caught doing it. But there was another recent one. Female teacher avoids jail time in statutory rape case. All right. So Lisa, 25-year-old former teacher at Maurice Donahue Elementary School in Boston or in Massachusetts, was charged. She and a 15-year-old boy were reported missing and found a week later in a motel in Morgantown, West Virginia. She pleaded guilty to 3 counts of statutory rape and 1 count of enticement of a child under the age 16. Prosecutors asked Judge Cornelius to sentence her to 3 to 5 years in state penitentiary, but the judge saying he does not think she will reoffend. So he spared her jail time.
Yeah, because she gets fired from the school. Like, is that a situation where he's like, well, she can't really get another job like that? It's not like the high school up the street's going to be like, we think we're ready to take a gamble on your talents as a social studies teacher. Like, although I see the tarnished record, the way that you convey World War II to the students is really something. So why don't we get you back in the system here? Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Not the way she conveyed World War II.
The way you just paint the picture and get the students involved in the discussion of fascism. We love what you're bringing. Yeah, like, no, of course you can't. Like, I don't know. That's wild. That's insane to me. It's kind of like I'm gonna stop. It's not kind of like, but it's weird when you see. What are your thoughts on like these teachers getting fired if they have OnlyFans? Like, have you seen that happen? Because I've read that a bunch of times where you see like,
I have not.
So I've seen a few different stories pop up where like different teachers they'll find their OnlyFans and then the school fires them for having it. And obviously like that's not the exact same thing, but it's still like a weird like mixing of a job. I don't know. You can't get away be doing that. I would say like if you're choosing to be at a school, you probably can't also do that. You kind of have to pick one or the other.
I mean, like the one teacher we talked about not too long ago, she was a kindergarten teacher and she was like fine. Like it goes to a point of what Shonda said. She was fine, like, but she definitely had a BBL surgery because her waist was way too tiny for her ass to be that damn big. But she was a kindergarten teacher, and all the people were complaining that she was dressing too sexy, and she wasn't. She was covering her skin and all that stuff, and they was like calling for a job. I think that was in New Jersey. But Shauna has a good point. She said it's more than just being a woman. Attractive female teachers are the ones who get away with no jail, which is true. And then Ebony Jones, what's up, Eb? Said that's a fact. Which, like, so my thing is, she only got 5 years probation, right? Literally, she only got 5 years probation for statutory rape. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have a picture of her to see how good she look or whatever, but that's the double standards I'm talking about. Like the guys get the double standards because they're not called a hoe. Some females call them a man whore or whatever, but if a woman do the same thing, she's called a slut and all that shit. And then with this situation, a female teacher doesn't get jail time because
the cops going to pick up a teacher right now. I could hear it.
right. She doesn't get jail time for being pregnant with a 15-year-old student's child, man. Like, it's crazy because
Wait, she got pregnant? I
Unfortunately,
missed that part of the story.
well, yeah, she's pregnant. Yes, she was
So
pregnant. Yeah,
is that's probably a part of it? Is like you
but
probably don't want to
still,
put someone in
uh,
jail because they're pregnant. Which again, like I guess you can't hold it off to be like once you have that kid, you get popped in because that's just as bad. Like the separation, like
right.
that. I I completely understand the double standard thing with that, but yeah, it's like it's a tough position because you don't want to be the one putting someone in that
Well,
situation when you're oh that's
but
it's so sticky. The human
yeah, it
element of
is.
it's got to be rough. Yeah.
It is. It
Oof.
is. But the thing is like there's been, teachers that wasn't pregnant and got maybe a year or some probation for statutory rape against a male minor and they were a female.
I
But this is the thing though, like the movie That's My Boy. Y'all gotta watch that shit. It's an older movie by Adam Sandler. It's called That's My Boy. Hilarious movie. It's literally about the first teacher that got caught doing this, right?
Interesting. Okay.
She was pregnant. They sent her to jail. Like they sent her to jail, and the boy ended up raising his kid by himself. So it was like a 15-year-old raising a kid, a boy, a 15-year-old raising a kid by himself, and like literally called him like some crazy ass name because like he was into Star Wars. I forgot like what he named him, but check that movie out. But the whole thing was, it's like she was in jail even when he was older, like before she got out. Like she did all this time, and the son was grown. And granted, it is a movie, but it's still based on a true story. So it's like a male teacher, like what Shonda about to say, but if a male teacher got a 15-year-old student pregnant, he would be under the jail, which is true because I was gonna say Han Solo. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, because that was his name. His name was Hans Solo.
That's
and
funny.
This kid hated that name. He hated his dad and all that shit because like his dad didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to raise him. So he was mad that he named him Han Solo. But like to Shonda's point, if a male teacher does that to a 15-year-old girl, he would definitely be under the jail. So unfortunately, I know somebody who was older than myself that was an upperclassman, and he ended up coming back to the school we graduated from, being a teacher. He was like a track coach and something else, and he was a teacher there, and ended up, I don't know if he actually had relations with the student or not, but he ended up getting convicted, and he got sentenced to, like, I believe 7 or more years in prison. And the girl ended up pregnant, and the girl was like 16 or 17, almost legal age. But that's the double standards I'm trying to get into. Like, it was a big difference on the years of jail than a female teacher doing the same exact thing to a male student. You know what I'm saying?
I wonder if also for both situations, when you're my oldest is Lando. That's awesome. That's so funny.
Funny, Lisa.
On a side note, like I've had a few friends give their kids like funny middle names, like Danger. I have a friend whose middle name's kid is Danger. Again, just silly name things. Anyway, but so my thing is, I wonder if like the people that this happened, do you have to get put on like the sex offender list regardless of that? Because I wonder, because you can make probably the argument like being on that's its own like certain prison that you kind of have to walk around and be in regardless. Like obviously having like being in jail time, I could only imagine how like terrible that is and how hard that must be. But also like the consequences you have to both face after that are also like I don't know what the requirements for being on the sex offender list are, but I'm sure it's a pretty tough life for whatever's going on. So I'm sure both of those happen for those situations. But yeah, yikes. I mean, gross situation regardless. I don't know. I feel like I sound like I'm coming off like I'm defending it when I am not at all. It's just like, no, it's just really, I'm just thinking of the consequences regardless as like a whole, I guess is what I'm talking through. But yeah, oof. I don't know. Rough stuff. That's all I could say, I guess.
Yeah, rough, probably rough stuff indeed. I mean,
I mean, it's gross. It's like disgusting. You know what I mean? Obviously, like there's obviously a lot of things really wrong with like your mental state if like that's kind of like where
Definitely.
you're headed and where you think you need to like find a companionship in that
Dude,
sense of it. Like
I don't get it.
yeah, it's wrong.
Yeah, because like when I heard about the guy that I know, that like I said, he was an older cat. I didn't know him, like I didn't hang with him personally or anything, but I knew of him. But just the fact of it's like, how can you, as a teacher, look at a student that way? You know what I'm saying? Because in my eyes, like if you think the student is cute, the mama gotta be bad. You know what I'm saying? So I'm after the mama, like, because the kid can't do shit for me. Nobody under 21 can do anything for me. No way, no how. So I'm after the mama because, like, I'm trying to holler at the mama because, like, she got money. You know what I'm saying? She paying her own bills. So it's like, why? I don't get that. You know what I'm saying? You had every access to all these kids' mamas. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the mamas wasn't that old, so they still younger than you. So it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Bro? Come on.
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, why take the absolutely disgusting route when you can like be more logical with it? Yeah, I'm with you.
Dude, like I was scared to have sex with a virgin that was literally only like 7-8 years younger than me. You know what I'm saying? So like, and at that time I was like in my 30s. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
So she was like 28, almost 30, still a virgin or whatever. And I'm like, no, you're gonna have to mess with somebody else first, then we can talk. You know, like dead serious.
Like preseason games in, like some spring training.
Like I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. My guy, hold on, real quick. My guy Ray Jones in the building. This OG from the hood. This my guy. Go pee. Brandon, tell me go. She gotta go pee. Ray Jones, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for tuning in to the couch, man. He said under 35 for me. Like for real, because like it's nothing there. Like, oh my gosh, I just don't understand it. But to get back to the topic at hand, the double standards for a female is so drastically different when it comes to this situation.
I mean, it's, you know, society's crazy. You know, all these different things, they flip and they flop, and like it seems like these are kind of some of the things that continue to kind of like linger through. Yeah, it's not all equal justice, I guess, you know. So
no, yeah, very seriously though, yeah, because like it's I don't get it. Couchers, what's your opinions on this situation? Because it is definitely, I know we heard from a couple, but it is definitely a double standard when it comes to a guy in that situation than a female that comes in that situation. Couchers, what do you think? Because it's drastically different, man. You know, and like I said, we giving our opinions, but like I couldn't imagine like at all. Like to me, that is like flat out fucking disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then it's like
it's the same. I mean, you did attach like the gender of it, and at its core, it's like someone who's in an older place of power is like preying on someone younger than them.
Yep.
And there's so many like dynamics and power dynamics that, again, like take the gender completely out of it. That is still what's happening at its core. Like, regardless of like which way it's coming from, it is still like someone abusing their power to like take advantage of someone. And that's horrible. We that is like one of the main components of societies, to have these people that are the ones that like are defending like those not in like a place to defend themselves, and these like praying situations are regardless like gross. And you think about like how much like especially like a teacher for you and like things like that, you know. I not that I ever had really close relationships with teachers that on like a personal level, but I've had plenty of friends that were like, man, I had the one teacher, whenever I had a problem, I knew I could go talk to them or whatever it was. Like they have like deeper relationships, and like if you're in like the older position as like a mentoring or again that place of like adult power, to like abuse it like that is just, you know, awful. That's it. That's what it is.
And like Ebony said, it's a lot to unpack. The double standard of men and women is just the beginning. Yeah, definitely. And then she was saying exactly to your point. And then Shonda just chimed in. She said, as a society, it's difficult to view women as predators. It's why women are rarely the first suspect in murder cases. Damn. Woo! Hey, she preaching on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think that's definitely true. Yeah, because it's like even the sticker shock of saying it, like you say one in front of the other. If you start with like the female perspective, I guess like you're just like, oh, that's bad. But then if you were to say the opposite, like with a male teacher, you're just like, that's really fucking terrible. It's just like a much more guttural reaction one from the other, I guess, is how we're all kind of tuned in for it, apparently, for some reason, which is fucked up.
Yep. Yeah, it's like Ebony said, it's a lot to unpack because there's so many double standards. But I did want to bring that to the forefront this week. This is a good time to take our one and only sponsor break. Please don't go nowhere. It's not gonna be that long. We got to pay some bills. So sit back, relax.
When do we start getting upset about commercials? We've lived with commercials our entire life. When did this like culture of, oh, now there's a commercial, I'm done with it completely? Who are we as people? Sit through a commercial, watch it. Okay, someone took time to make this damn thing. It helps the whole world. Just sit there. Just do it.
I love it. Hey,
watch a commercial every once in a while. Stay humble.
My God. And then Brad Cover, the official sponsor of Just Therapy, the podcast, just chimed in. My guy, Twisted Tomato Pizzeria owner. If it's pizza, it's possible. That commercial is coming up shortly. We got to go to commercial break real quick. But Charity, what's going on, Boomy? She says streaming happened. That's what happened. LOL. Talking about the commercial breaks. But please, please, please don't go nowhere. We got more Just Therapy. We got more Tyler Ross. And next, we talking about the Chris Rock comedy special. So I'm telling you right now, coming from two comedians, you want to hear our opinions on it. And we definitely want to hear yours. And we're going to talk about it. So we'll be right back to you, man. More commercials. I said more commercials. More Just Therapy coming to you. But we're about to go to this short commercial break. We'll be right back to you. I'm SB, and I'm taking you to break, baby.
Primal Screen in Kent, Ohio. For all your screen printing and embroidery needs. Quality work, on time, fair prices. For more information, call 330-677-1766. Again, 330-677-1766. Or check us out online, primalscreenprinting.com. If you mention a podcast, you get 5% off. Peace.
Custom Design Aquariums, where we bring your aquatic dreams to life. With your help, using your imagination, together, we will turn your home or office into a peaceful getaway. For a free consultation, call 330-475-5181 or contact us by email at customdesignaqua@gmail.com. Once again, that is customdesignaqua@gmail.com. Mention this podcast and get 5% off. Man, I love me some pizza. I don't think y'all understand how much I love pizza. And I have the best place for you. Twisted Tomato Pizzeria is the place to get everything that you need. They got 2 locations and 1 on the way. The first location is 1909 Bailey Road, Cuyahoga Falls. Their phone number is 330-928-2222. They got another location in downtown Akron, across the street from Rubber Duck Stadium. Their address is 325 South Main Street, Akron. Phone number is 330-849-5707. Best part about the Akron location has to be the beer wall. I like to call it a Dave and Buster's of beer. They got 36 taps. They got wine, ale, IPAs, anything you can think of beer-wise is on this wall. Reason why I call it a Dave and Buster's of beer is what you do. You go in there, you put money on the card, you walk up with your card to the tap, place the card against the tap, and pour as much beer as your heart desires. I mean, it's just so good. When it hits your lips, it's just so good. And the thing I like to say about Twisted Tomato Pizzeria the most is they cater to your taste buds. And everybody be like, SB, what do you mean they cater to your taste buds? I mean, whatever you want on your pizza, they do. And I'm talking about they got wings, calzone, pizzas, subs, everything. And I'm a cheeseless type of person. So anytime I get me a pizza, I say no cheese, extra sauce. And the first bite I take, every time I'll be like, bitch. Like, it's just that damn good. Every single time I take a bite, it's just, bitch. Like, you just don't understand how good this damn pizza is. If you ever in the area of Cuyahoga Falls, Akron, and the new location coming soon, Stowe, you gotta try Twisted Tomato Pizzeria. Best part about it, they're official sponsor of Just Therapy D podcast. So all you got to do is call when you order your pizza. You mention the podcast and you get a 10% discount. Like, how can you be 10% off your order? And they got a slogan too. It ain't bitch, but it's just as good because if it's pizza, it's possible.
Yeah. That was beautiful.
Well, thank you, sir.
That was great. Sir. I'm just quick scrolling the menu. Big fan. What do you have a favorite specialty pizza of theirs that you like?
They chili pizza is good.
Okay.
The chili pizza is good. But I helped out a couple times, so anytime I got a pizza, I would do cheeseless. I would get pepperoni, sausage, ham, throw a little bacon on there. Gotta throw the banana peppers on that bitch.
Oh, so this is a custom thing that you're
that was a custom. Right. That's custom.
Okay.
Yeah, because they cater to my taste buds, man.
I love this. I'm the Cajun twisted steak. That's what I'm eyeing right now. That looks pretty tasty. I'm into it. Well, hey, maybe the weekend of May 20th. I'll kick off the day.
Not maybe. You better go hit up Brad, man.
All right.
Brad Culver.
Brad,
man.
I'm coming to you.
Gotta hit him up.
Let's do it.
Plus, they got a Kegs and Eggs coming up. They just had one Saturday. They having one this Saturday because y'all know St. Patrick's Day is Friday. So let me show you that little commercial. It's gonna be a little crazy. You can't hear nothing, but I'll show it to you. Let me know when you can see it. Can you see it there, brother?
I can see it.
All right. Kegs and Eggs, March 17th, 7 a.m. to 1. Check them out. Look, that's the beer wall right there. Look at that.
Hey, and if you're planning on going downtown for the parade in downtown Akron, why not start your day off with a little Kegs and Eggs? Breakfast is going to start at 7 a.m. on the 11th and the 17th.
Yeah, man.
I'm reading the copy that I found on their website. Okay. I thought I would help.
Just had one this Saturday. It's all right. You doing?
Oh, good, okay. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Double dipping. I see. Well, great. Well, and this year, apparently during this year, they're giving away scratch offs. Look at that. There they are right there. I love scratch offs. I won't lie. I'm a big fan.
Hey, so do I. I think everybody loves scratch offs, especially if you can win something. What the fuck?
There's have you seen there's whole TikTok accounts where all they do is just live scratch off do scratch offs. That's the whole live. It's just watching those. And honestly, sometimes I get trapped in just watching people do scratch offs. It's a lot of fun sometimes.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun doing scratch offs. I know I like scratch offs. I don't do them that much because I don't like to lose money. So
Oh, I love gambling, Sean.
Do you really?
Oh yeah. My big pandemic activity, I downloaded FanDuel, never turned back. Never looked the other way. Big fan. It's also like my girlfriend and I, we love going to the casino. We'll go sit and play like roulette for a little bit. Maybe it's annoying because I've watched so many people win money gambling that's what gives me the false sense of hope. First time I went to Vegas, I watched my friend get free money from the casino because he signs up for a player's card, put it down on a specific number on roulette, puts it on 8. First time, spins, hits it, wins $800 right there on free money.
Wow.
I've never been like more disillusioned that like you can win and tricked into thinking that could be me than seeing that happen. I almost think that the casino paid off my friend to trick me for years to come on my gambling. I think he was a paid plant, and if the casino wants to pay me to do that to someone else, I'm more than willing to take a bribe. So
hey, that's funny. That's funny. Hey, quick plug. I just got the flyer for the show coming up on the 24th. Like literally during the podcast, I just got the flyer. So I'm gonna share the screen one more time so you guys can see the flyer. Can you see that?
I can see that.
All right, Finesse and Flow Fridays. Yeah, so it's gonna be my guy John Huff is hosting. I'm featuring, and then our guy Chevy Terrell is closing out the show. And right after us is the Unit Band, and they got the wrong date on this bitch because it's March 24th, not the 31st. So
where's this at?
This is in Bedford Heights at it's called 612. It's a new spot up there, and it is on the 24th. And it's not on the 31st. So they got the wrong. I gotta make sure he know that that's the wrong date because I'm actually in Lakeview, Ohio on the 31st of this month. So that's a conflict of interest because we booked for the 24th. So we'll make sure we get that shit straight. So
it's fun learning details about a show on the flyer. I think that's the best way to learn about it. Yeah. I like learning if there's a theme or a specific maybe a funny topic that I was supposed to jokes about. Learning about it on the flyer is great. I learned about a show being a roast show on the flyer one time. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Next thing I know, I'm like, oh, I'm going head to head against someone on a show. I thought we were just going to do like a joke and vote or something. Now I have to think of stuff about fucking Greg. You think I care about Greg?
Listen, I hate that.
I hate roasts. Oh, I'm glad we're on the same page with this.
Because listen, we did so many roasts when we started. Like we had roast that was literally Comedy Central roast worthy. But after a while, it was like, and somebody asked me to do a roast, and I was like, no, I'm all right. I'm not doing it. Because like I don't want to fuck nobody up. Plus, I don't want to spend that much energy thinking about somebody else to come up with shit to talk about them. I don't want to spend that much energy.
I'm a sweet boy. I can't be mean to anybody. That's the other thing. I'm just too nice.
I can. I just don't want to do it no more.
Even when
Brad Cober, the owner, said, bitch, new slogan coming soon. And then he also chimed in and said, pickle pizza, presto, margarita, chicken, cini, so good. So check out those are specialty pizzas I think he was throwing up here. So, and then Eb says she definitely coming. Yeah, we got to figure out that damn date because that's wrong. I'm actually go text his ass while we start this next damn topic and be like, hey, that flyer can't be right because I'm booked the 31st already. So yeah, so it's got to be
me too. So it's cool.
I don't know. That's crazy as fuck. Like, no, yeah, that's the wrong date. So, all right, yeah. So, welcome back to the couch. Thanks for sticking with us through that small sponsor break. And next up, we gonna talk about Chris Rock, man, and his comedy special. I hope a lot of people seen it. I know a lot of people seen it.
It was live, right?
It was live, but it was live the day John Bones Jones came back to the UFC. So I had like a little watch party at the house, and that's what I watched. I want to watch John Jones fight in the UFC, his comeback debut, instead of actually watching, Chris Rock live on Netflix. But yes, it was live. They had things before and things after. And I watched it last night because I know I messaged you and was like, hey, you got to watch. Did you watch it? And he was like, no, I'm going to watch it. And I was like, well, I got to watch it too. So, so it was a lot of different views on. There's a lot of different views on, the whole stand-up special. So Ray definitely said he saw it. So that's what's up. But it was a lot of different views on it. So we go talk about our views, man. Go Tyler, start us off, man. What did you think of the special?
Okay, I'll start out with something not really about the special, but it happened during it. Did you see the heel on the boots that Chris Rock was wearing during the special? Those
Okay.
things were thick on the shoes that he was wearing. These boots, I mean, it was I looked it up. He's 5'10",
Yeah.
but so he's not that short, but to see like the boots he was wearing, they were propping him up very tall. Like
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
was the first thing I just couldn't get past. Like he's all white, and then I just kept noticing. So that was the first thing I saw. So
before you keep going, let me chime in on that one too.
Yeah,
That was
hit
the
me.
First thing I noticed, he has all white on. Okay, we're all white, but the platform shoes that he
Yes.
had on they were all white. They was creased up because like I don't know, they didn't look comfortable as fuck like at all, and he had white platforms on to do an hour special. I'm going to be comfortable the way I want to be comfortable while I'm performing on stage. So yes.
And he walks around a lot in his act. He's someone that whenever you think of Chris Rock, it's someone who's like walking back and forth. So to see that he was wearing those, I mean, they did it live. What if he just like falls during the show because he's got these clunky giant shoes on? That is what I just kept thinking of the entire time as I was watching it. So that was the first thing that distracted me. But so watching it, I will say this, one of my own personal comedy pet peeves is I am so tired and bored of people talking about being canceled. I was gonna look it up and then I got bored of looking it up, but there's so many people that have like named their comedy special canceled, named their comedy tour I'm canceled. At this point, it's like I don't even really know what that means. Like I wish someone could now explain to me what being canceled means, because is Dave Chappelle canceled? He's touring and making millions of dollars still. Like he's not canceled. Like what does that mean?
The living goat will never be canceled. Ebony Jones said horrible. She said his skin looked it dry, hated it.
I mean, that's so funny about like it's the aesthetics of things or something I'm thinking about a lot because I have we're recording it video May 20th at the Funny Stop. So being aware of like, okay, I know Pete's got that blue background. What's going to match with that? Like,
yep.
Like if I would hate to like, oh, I bought this cool jacket and then all of a sudden I'm like camouflaging into it the entire time. Like that's all people are going to notice. So, yeah, that was my first thought is like this whole like the getting can't. I don't even know what that means. So when I watched
he kept talking about it. It was like it was overdone. He talked to me. He talked about it a little too much. The cancel part, like everybody's talked about it. I don't want to get canceled. You got to be careful. To me, he could have took a different approach at it and then left it there because you are a big name. So yes, you got to approach it. You got to say something. But to dwell on it like he did, I think he could have got off of it a much faster than how long he took on it. That's my thing. So
yeah, and I don't even know what this is in reference to, but I love. Oh yeah, the aesthetics.
The background, man. Yeah.
You have to be aware of that.
It matters. Shout out to you for thinking about things like that. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I normally am terrible at dressing myself, so I'll take any little gassing up of that I can take. So I think it took too long. It was like, yeah, we get it. Like, get over it. And he jumped like next into like, I do like, it's funny to always make fun of companies. I'm never gonna be some shill that's gonna like defend like Lululemon or some other thing. Like
that was funny.
That was really funny.
Yep.
Yeah, I think like it is very funny to like call out these companies for like virtue signaling because that happens all the time, and I get that. And at its deep core, to me, it's like, yeah, that's just unfortunately like a thing on capitalism. Like, yeah, everyone has to kind of do this thing just to like check some boxes here and there, and it sucks that we've all like. There's this standard now. Everyone's like, well, I need you to do this, this, and that, or we can't even like move forward with you. So it is really, it's weird. I think he hit on it really well with like the commercial, like there's no white couples, like there's mixed. It's like, yeah, that's because they're just trying to cover all their bases. Like what's the easiest way to represent everybody? Just put one of each. Yeah. That's great. That's kind of just like, they're just trying to cover all their bases. Again, like I think it's like, it's not like Microsoft is making artistic choices about how society is. They have been given a focus group and demographics and numbers and all this, and they're like, here is how we like shade as many of these things off as possible. And I think like calling it out, the absurdity of it that's like fun for me. I enjoyed that aspect of like the different things he was calling out.
Yeah, I thought that part was good. The Lululemon, the $100 stretch pants.
Yeah.
Like it was funny, especially because my best friend Jay Luke, he's got kind of sponsored by them, so he gets a lot of their clothes for free.
Oh, nice.
Not knowing it costs that damn much, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know it cost that much. So kudos to my guy for getting a sponsorship. You know, he a coach, so he does fitness coaching. So yes, shout out to him for doing that. Another thing that I thought was funny that he pointed out was when he was like, the white man was afraid, like with the insurrection, he was like, we got to stop them. He was like, stop who? Us. We got to stop ourselves. Like, to me, that was like one of the funniest bits he did of the night. That was, I thought that was unique how he took that and made it funny and preference that on that, and then was talking about how I've heard other people say they look like monkeys and shit, but the way he portrayed it was funny, especially when he like stood up and was like acts like he was taking a shit and then grabbed it and threw it like they do at the zoo. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I like that. I've seen a lot of different bad versions of like insurrection jokes lately. So to watch one where I was like, okay, thank you for doing it a little differently and giving it a little more nuance was really nice because, man, if I see one more, like it's overdone, it's easy, and I am not adverse to like doing easy tricks on stage, but if I watch one more person call someone, oh, you look like you were just storming the Capitol, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. Like, it's like that is I forget. There's so many like times through comedy you see like certain things get like overused, and it's like, again, I'm not gonna like poo-poo people using comedy tricks. We all fucking do it, but that's just my pet peeve right now. My own personal taste. I just don't want to hear. I'm just over people using that as a thing, like pointing at someone and be like, you look like you just got done storming the Capitol. Like,
I'm glad I've never heard that at a show. Because I would say something.
Again, I'm not talking about anyone specifically, because if you're using it, that's cool. Like, everyone needs to use the tools that are available. It's just like, it's like when you hear certain beats and songs, so you're just like, I don't want to hear this beat, like this kind of like going. It's like, I want to hear a different kind of song to be done. I don't care. I'm happy that people are making their songs the way that other people enjoy them. I'm just not, I don't want to hear that song. So, I thought that was good. What else I thought the abortion jokes were a little like, it just felt a little like very like a little too like raw.
Crass?
Yeah, it was
crass,
like,
a little too raw.
He was really pushing it like hard head on. I think it was really hard. I wasn't really on board with a lot of it, and like but I thought the line of if you have to pay for your own abortion, you should definitely be getting an abortion was like the funniest thing out of, like, taking that line out of it was hilarious. Like, I thought it was a really like great point to be had about it. And again, like, calling like saying it like the baby part. And I think like even the like post being born abortion thing has been like done a little bit, but like the line paying for your own, you probably get like, that's such a like great like call of like your situation is probably dictating the situation.
So to comment on that part, I didn't mind the abortion rant that he went on. I didn't, because I got a sick sense of humor, so I got exactly where he was coming from, right? Because he started off with saying he was pro-life, right? Then he tagged his daughters in it and was like, I'm pro-choice because of them, because they should have the right to do whatever they want with their body. So I liked how he tagged it, and then he kept going, and then he kept digging deep. It was almost like, to me, it was almost like the workshops we used to do at the open mics, where we would say the most offensive thing we can think of at the beginning and try to dig ourselves out of that hole to see if we can gain the crowd back. And we would do the shit on purpose, right? And I don't think he was playing that game. I think like he literally sat there and like crafted that particular joke. So I thought it wasn't bad. Other people might have got offended by it, but it was him saying it's pro-choice. And he dug deep. And I wasn't mad at him for digging deep because some of the shit he was saying was funny as fuck to me, especially when he was like, I think they should be able to get an abortion even after the kid is born, like after they first report card. He was like, wait, you ain't gonna amount to shit. So you can fit into this TV show, but after this, we going to get my smoothie. Because he said he had the punch card. Listen, I thought that, like, I laughed out loud when I heard him say that shit. So I didn't take offense to that one at all. So I thought it was funny. Yes, he went. And I don't even.
It's not even taking offense for me, right? Like, it's not that. I think it's like the calling, like continuing to say it like as a baby. I guess it isn't as much like it's an offend. It's like, to me, it's like watching a movie when you see someone get like a cut, like, and then they show you it bleeding, right? Like, there's a difference between like you continuing to show the like the injury and it bleeding out and it's an open wound and it's a part of the movie and it's like, oh, this is really hard to watch.
Okay.
But it's also really what's happening, right? Like, I understand the truth and like what is being said in it, but hearing it said like that's just like, oh, bad touch. I'm watching the like it bleed out in like the movie. So because you can accomplish the same thing doing it different. Wow, we just got a cut and we're talking to each other about like how we can fix it and we're seeing faces rather than the cut. So for me, I'm just like, I don't want to keep seeing it bleed. Like, can we get to where it's healed already, or like where like we're gonna fix it up, right? So that's where mine is. It's not an offense thing. It's just like I just don't want to keep seeing it like portrayed that way. I guess
you don't want to keep hearing it.
Yeah, it was just like it's just like
he was like, because it's definitely killing the baby.
Yeah,
like, don't get it wrong.
Yeah, just like it's a very raw. It's like it's a truth and to your own. Like it's just like
okay, Chris.
All right, I guess here we go with it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So that but that line of it. Really fucking good. Like, definitely really enjoyed that. I thought
that next point. Let's break it down.
Yeah, so I thought that was good. The school story thing, I was a little annoyed with. I'll be really honest. Like, it's a really funny story. I just think it's like an annoying rich person story, and that's why as I'm hearing it, I'm like rolling my eyes because I think if you give the situation of what he's describing to someone else without resources, like that's ends up being mostly a sad tale. Like where I'm at in my life, like if I had like a kid in Chicago and he got kicked out of a school and had to go to like maybe a different Chicago school where it's not as like good of a situation, maybe there's like worse outcomes. His daughter getting kicked out of a very privileged private school to then maybe have to go to a different private school where she had to write an essay to get into said thing again, but them still knowing it's Chris Rock's son or daughter rather. Yeah. It's not as much a barrier to entry to keep moving it forward and like learn from your mistakes. Like, I get the picture and point. Like, you have to get some adversity in your life, and it's tough. It seems like for him to manufacture adversity for his kids who have a lot of resources, but to have the end be like, and now she could teach it. She's in coloring school in France. It's like, man, I feel so bad that she had to struggle to get all the way to culinary school in France. That must be tough. She's probably cleaning dishes every night to barely scrape by and make it, and like be able to do the classes and pay for knives and all of that stuff. It's got so like it's like, did you watch the director Judd Apatow's special? No, if not, it starts like this. I turned it off after this opener. His opening joke is talking about, you ever turn on your IMDb page and you see that movies that are similar to yours are Shrek or something? Like, that ever happened to you? And I was like, click. No, that's never happened to me. I'm not going to find that like funny that you're complaining what your IMDb like suggested like similar things were. So that was my annoying thing. It had funny elements, but that was my big beef with it.
Okay, so I didn't mind that story.
I like the message of it.
I like the message of it.
Yeah.
And what I really liked about it was that simple fact of wow, you never knew this shit? Like, my daughter didn't know, my wife didn't know, like
Yeah,
my
that's
mother
really
didn't
cool.
know
Mm.
until they watched this Netflix special. I thought that, to me, that part was, genius and dope, because we've done jokes where, because I remember doing a joke about something that my parents didn't know, and they were at the show, and that was the first time they heard about the situation or the incident of me lying or something like that. So I thought that part I liked. I think as far as he did go a little overboard with it. I didn't mind him going to the dean and be like, kick her ass out of the school, blah blah blah. I didn't mind that part,
because I think, and not that I've
the
been a
whole
parent, but
part of the joke wasn't funny. It was
Yeah.
literally talking about a situation that he had, but to me, it wasn't enough funny in that situation to make it an actual joke. You know what I'm saying? So, Derek Osborne, what's going on with you, fam? Thanks for checking in, man.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and it's like, if again pulling the like, everyone should have a little adversity to like overcome, and like, get some like battle scars under you to like become a more full person. I agree, and I think like, that's a thing a lot of people, my takeaway from it, and again, I'm not a parent, so it's got to be tough, that like, of course the other parents in the joke, their natural reaction is try to do everything they can for their kid, so and it's that weird balance where I think like my generation gets like a lot of like, oh, you guys are so soft. It's like, no, the parents that were fighting for me in my generation fought so hard to make sure everything went well. Like, what do you expect me to feel like how things are going to be, like it's almost like a trickle down of like the love your parents have, even though you messed up. You're not, you don't always want them to suffer the consequences wholly. You're going to fight for them to try to like make sure that they don't have to like live with their mistakes or be like suffer the consequences as children making decisions. And again, like, it's that like, you don't want to be like, yeah, you deserve to get kicked out of school for every bad thing that happens to a kid along their life, but also like, how do you make sure they like can kind of figure it out? As not a parent, I couldn't imagine that like weird balance of like being supportive or also like letting life kind of happen to kind of like understand what's going to go on. That's the like the hardest thing I can't like experience or like give my personal to them.
I like that feedback that you made that point as far as like your generation, and then you kind of explained it like it's almost a trickle down effect, because they tried to make sure they did the right thing by you. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you even saying that part. Yeah,
I would feel like a few generations ago, the narrative would be like, oh, you got kicked out of school. Well, guess what? Now you have to go work at the factory every day as a 13-year-old, and that is now your life because you beefed it. Whereas like, then you like next generation, they're like, well, we got to keep you in school. Let's go fight as hard as we can to. And like, again, that's not like a overtly negative thing, but like the consequences just change how like you narrate things through. Like, I didn't lose my thumb in a mining factory because I cheated on a test or something, or got in a fight and got angry at someone. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. So yeah, that was my takeaway from that story. It was like, yeah, of course the other parents wanted their kids to stay in the good school.
Right. What was your next point? Are we getting into it? We about to get into that part?
I was gonna say the next one that was him dating was another thing. Listening to him talk about that was just, it's like, it's his story, it's his thing, but like, I think a lot of it is like, yeah, dude, like you have a lot of money and people know who you are. What do you expect to happen?
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not like, I'm 32. I've been in a relationship the past 5 years, so I haven't been like single, like trying to like know what it's like dating and as an older person being single, right? So
I'm sorry, what older person? 36?
So like, and not like older, but like
I'm fucking with you.
Okay, but like being single and like experimenting through dating when you're in your like 20s is different, I would imagine, than being single while you're in your like upper 30s and 40s, and like the like participation you have, and like so that was something where I'm like, well, it's hard to know if like that's just the experience most people would have at his age group, or is it like it's Chris Rock, I mean, like of course people are like, come on, dude.
I like the fact that he broke it down to where I might lick an ass, but I'm definitely not holding nobody's hand. So
Yeah, that's
I,
such a
I
key.
liked how he broke it down that way. Because like being older is hard dating. Like right now, I'm not even focused on that shit. I can care less. Like I'm focused on my daughter, man. Like making sure she good. Like fuck all the other shit. Like they gonna have to fit into our schedule, and if they can't, what the fuck ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but I got that point. All right. What was the next one?
I mean, that was kind of like the dating, like 25 versus 45-year-olds. It was like, yeah, of course, if you're dating a 25-year-old, it's gonna be like different. Their whole life experience is
Yeah.
different. So
Yeah.
it just
But
was
yeah, the shoes, that was to me, that was funny. And it was true. I think he did the shoes part way too much because he could have just touched on she want a pair of shoes. She want a pair of shoes. And then left it at that. I got her shoes and whatever the fuck. But he just kept saying it over and 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 over again. So, but the comparison was funny and true because women my age and older or whatever, they got bills, they got real situations. So I got that part. He was like, wait, you need help on your roof, and then the setup with the car at the fucking the shop. That was, to me, that was foul. That's one of the double standards we was talking about earlier because it's like, oh, I didn't give you some ass. Now, you done got my roof fixed, but now you got to pay for my car to get out of, oh, I only got $35, but it's $450. Like, wait.
And we've all set someone up to pay for something like that too. Like I think you've never been like somewhere where like, well, I'm hoping they just kind of, and not like something huge like a car thing, but like a meal or like a drink at a bar or something. Like I guess it is a little different with the circumstance, but I don't know. I've definitely like weaseled my way where I'm like, well, I know they will be paying for this drink, so I'm just gonna, have a lot of confidence walking up or something like that.
Right.
Here's was my biggest surprise with it. I'm surprised he didn't do the Will Smith stuff at the very top. I'm actually surprised he saved it for the end, because that was my thing. Because if I were to go see Chris Rock, and especially over the last year, because the Oscars were just last night, it was interesting to me that if you go see Chris Rock post it happening, your first thought is, oh my God, he's going to talk about it, right? So to me, if I were to go see him, even within the like 5 months after it would happen, that would be my first thought, is like, he's got to talk about that, right? So for him to do at the end, I would almost be distracted. I feel like at a live show being like, when is he going to talk about the Will Smith thing? So I was just surprised he didn't open with it, kind of air it out, get it out of the way, and then move on after that. That was what I thought was the weirdest kind of like choice in the set.
So I kind of figured he would wait until the end. I did. There was a lot of people talking about that part, and they was like, oh, how can you call a woman a bitch, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, whatever the fuck, right? My take on it was, I thought he did that tastefully because he only called Jada a bitch one time. He called Will Smith a bunch of bitches, but he also really didn't call him a bitch himself. He said other people was calling him a bitch for the situation with the August Alsina thing. So I thought he did it tastefully. I thought that was about time he, spoke up about it or whatever. I like the fact that he said he wasn't gonna be on nobody's couch crying about it or whatever. He wanted to do it on his time, and I thought that because he spent more time on his daughter getting kicked out of school, more time on the dating aspect and wanting shoes, not even the whole dating joke, but the shoes part.
Yeah.
Right. He spent more time on each and every other thing than he did on the Will Smith thing. So for people to be like, oh, he is sucker for, not hitting them back or whatever. And then he explained the whole thing. Like, okay, so he also broke that mic at the end of the show. Like
that was that was also insane. I was going to wait till I get there, but yeah, I'm not, because it caught me off guard with the closing line that he said, which I thought was like, oh, that was really cool. But like, oh my God, okay. It reminded me of like old like 80s comedians you would see on like Carson, who like move the mic away to like make sure the audience knows it's time to laugh. And like, it was like, oh, okay, that was funny, but like, oh, he threw the mic, so it's like now I have to think it's extra
Now
funny
he's done.
because he's
He's done.
shown me.
He threw the mic. He's done. Like
That
he
was
dropped the mic.
insane.
You know what I'm saying? So he definitely broke the mic. I want to say that early, but
Yeah.
I thought it was tasteful on how he approached the whole Will Smith part of his routine. Right.
I also like that he didn't say I think he didn't talk too much about it because of course there's been so much discourse already about it that's like hasn't even included him, that I think he doesn't need to have the conversations that all of us have kind of already had about it. So that I think that was made sense because he said what he wanted to say. The victim thing, I like how he like did that. I like how he mentioned like kind of the show must go on kind of vibes is what he was saying.
Yeah.
I love the like, I'm not gonna call him a bitch. He's gonna call him a bitch. Like that was funny. Like I thought that was like a silly way to kind of like dance and get around to it. I love how he was like, I liked Will Smith before that. Like
he said and the crazy part about it is like you can tell he was genuine about what he was saying. Like everybody was rooting for Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? And like he said, like that the selective outrage is like and because like that was my opinion on the whole situation. Now this is where you want to be selective and have an outrage because you actually laughed at the joke, then looked over, seen her face. So then you want to act like you need to save somebody because you didn't save your mom when you were little, or you didn't stick up for your wife before. Like, come the fuck on. Now you want to have selective outrage because a guy that you know can't whoop you. Because that's just like fighting in school. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that couldn't fight wanted to wait till the teachers was around or a whole bunch of people was around to start a fight because they knew it was going to get broke up quick. Like to me, that was what happened at the Oscars last year. You want to smack somebody and act all tough, walk back to your seat, act all tough, yell some tough shit. But then you really like, if you had a problem with him saying that, say something to him in the green room after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Because if you really want to fight him, you want to get, you know what I'm saying? You want to get it in, you know? You don't want to smack somebody and then walk away. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how, you know.
And that wasn't even the narrative later. Like, no point did anyone come out later saying like, oh yeah, they talked at the end and, you know, they kind of came to this conclusion, or, you know, they scuffled more and really got to get it out and settle it. Like, it was straight up no additional conversations, it seemed like, between the two of them after that, like, specific interaction. I did watch some of the Oscars yesterday, and they did make a bunch of jokes about it. They were like, you know, we've upsecured. They did make a bunch of jokes about it. Yeah,
of course.
And they did a few, but it was funny. It was like, you know, if anyone does anything, we'll make sure that we'll all just sit there quietly for the next 3 hours. Like, it was very funny, like acknowledging how silly it was and everything like that. So, I was, you know, again, he didn't need to acknowledge or make the jokes about that or the points that we were all saying, like, you know, Will Smith doubled down. I like that he didn't like say all the things that we'd already kind of already heard about it. So I like that. I was just surprised where he didn't, like, you know, I think when I think of like a set of mine being laid out with like that kind of stuff, you think like, all right, let's get it out of the way. This happened. Here's what I think about it. And then like that transitions into all the other things.
Well, and I didn't mind him doing that because you got to remember when he first went on the road afterwards, he addressed it at the top.
Sure.
A couple of times, but he was like, hey, it happened. Yes, we'll talk about it another time because I've already been planning for these sets. So, and left it at that. You know what I'm saying? So I did not, because Ray was like, he did take a long time to talk about it. I thought it was perfect to talk about it at the end. I thought that was good. And to me, I thought the way he did it was classy. I thought it was.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Saying like, oh, he called Jada a bitch too many times. He called her a bitch one time, you know. And I mean, like, if you like, and then like the way he explained it, he was like, have you been interviewed by somebody else who cheated on you? Because he was like, we've all been cheated on here, which is so true. And then for that person to interview you and be like, hey, you know, I sucked them off. How did you feel about that? Like, which is like crazy. And I thought he did that whole thing tastefully. I liked it, but overall, I wasn't impressed with the special.
Yeah, I think you're right. He either has to do it at the very top of it or at the very end. So I do like that he, like, again, if you're not going to start with it, closing with it makes the most sense, because it's like, how are you not going to at least say something? But it gives you a good way of like, I'm settled, I'm done, I'm out of here. But yeah, it was just, I just thought like it was just fine. You know, there's nothing like iconic that you necessarily take away like all other past like Chris Rock's thing. But I also think that has a lot to do with like almost no specials nowadays come out have like a thing that's iconically like a bit everyone knows or everyone has like can quote, or it like is such a very good like mirror of like where we're at that people can like reference as like real examples of things while also having like a humorous, like there's not a lot of specials because so many come out obviously that it's hard to like, you know, someone new come out, you can be like, wow, did you hear that Josh Johnson take on gun control? You're like,
yeah,
who the fuck are you talking about? You're like, oh, okay, well, it was a big deal. Like it's got this many views, and like that almost means nothing at this point. So yeah, I think I like the abortion like line. Thought that was very fun.
Okay.
I don't think I'll be wearing that high platform heels for my own comedy special taping, but it's good to know that that is an option for some other performers. But yeah, altogether, I haven't watched like a lot of specials like recently.
Me either.
Like a full one was for this, knowing you're going to talk about. I was like, okay, I'm committed to actually watching this. You know, it's tough to. I think ultimately like, he did a good job of like not just doing one topic the whole time. He did like do a bunch of different random things, but yeah, it was fine. You know, if I watched it, I'd be like in real life, I'd be like, I just saw Chris Rock talk. That's really cool. You know,
talk exactly. And that was my point on it. Cause like, I was so, when I was watching it, I was so like, waiting, like, give me some funny, Chris. I know you funny. Give me some funny, Chris. Like, I need some funny. It wasn't enough funny for me for our special and for it to be Chris Rock. And even the last part wasn't that funny. It was just he finally talked about him getting smacked by Will Smith.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And but I seen how he kept leading up to it because he had said something about Snoop. And he was like, oh, I don't want another rapper to get mad at me, right?
That was so funny. That also, just real quick, that was such a great, like, that was something where I think he pulled such a great, like, part of where we're at, like, as a society. A fun, really good observation that, and I like very silly, and that's a very clean joke. So, and I like things like that are like really like, oh, that is a good observation. I 100%. Yeah. The Snoop Dogg reference, amazing. Like, super
amazing.
Fun. Such a great, like, so accurate, like so accurate. That was when
he's on everything now, which everybody love Uncle Snoop. You know what I'm saying? Then when he brought up Jay-Z, oh, I don't want another rapper.
The reverse mortgage Snoop Dogg thing too was so funny because that was like, man, what an old school called an observation.
What do you call it? A doggage or some shit?
Yeah, I think so. Just and then added to it, like that was like a perfect, like that's a great joke to me. I love jokes like that. Yeah, love jokes like that. It's but yeah, I mean. It's just got to be tough for Chris Rock because he's been famous for so long. Everyone knows him. Everyone knew that like very big example of something that happened in his life in the very like public eye of something like the Oscars. So it's like it's tough, you know. How are we going to do that? Like we can see Chris Rock almost every day in all this other movies and stuff like that. So
so I wasn't impressed. I can kind of say I was disappointed because I wanted more. I wanted more funny. I thought there were funny parts. I didn't think it was enough funny parts, and that's just my take as being a fellow comic myself. And I know I'm still a pup in the game, only 14 years in, but I wanted more. You know what I'm saying? So that leads me to my point because I know we're about to get out of here soon. We don't want to keep anybody too damn long, but that leads me to my point. Give me your top 3 alive, because like my top 5 of all time are dead and gone. But give me your top 3 alive. And while you think about it, because I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, I ain't prepare you for this. I'm gonna give you my 3 and give you, a little bit basis on why I'm giving you like why these 3. So my top number 1 alive, GOAT right now, Dave Chappelle, hands down. Period. I don't think I gotta explain that one because the motherfucker's a genius. He's funny as shit. He always brings it. It's always funny. Like it's Chappelle. You know what I'm saying? So he's number 1 alive. GOAT to me, my book, right? Number 2, Deon Cole. It's my number 2. Because his 2 specials are hilarious through and through. Make sure you check them out on Netflix. Deon Cole, watch the first one, then watch the second one. His latest special was Charlene's Son, I think, or a Letter to Charlene. That was his second one. That was his mom. But the one before that, hilarious, funny as shit. Then he did his second one, hilarious. Deon Cole, very underrated. A lot of people don't know about him. Funny as hell. Number 2. Number 3, Tony Rock.
Okay.
The reason why is that dude is genuinely funny and genuinely a good dude. I met him before I started doing comedy. He was such a good dude. Like, and remembered me the following year because he gave me tickets. He was like, hey, I got tickets at the door. Come to the Sunday show, blah, blah, blah. I didn't show up because I ain't had nobody to go with. Then I found out like a year later, he came back to the Improv. So I was like, I got to go. Went by myself. After the show, he was like, dude, where was you at last year? I had tickets for you. I'm like, how do you remember an oddball that you seen twice, 2 nights in a row, right? Not at a show, but at a club. And you remembered that he didn't come to your show, right?
That's wild. Yeah.
Wild as shit. Plus, the dude is just funny. He's way funnier than his brother, y'all. And a lot of people be sleeping on Tony Rock. So that's my top 3 alive right now of best comedians. Give me your 3 real quick.
Okay, so first one, I really love Rory Scovel. I don't know if you'll know who that is, but he has a Netflix special out. He's someone that I've seen live a bunch of times as well.
Is that your 1?
That's number 1.
Okay.
Right now, I will say Rory Scovel. He's so good, like live show. He does a really good. He's always like improvising and like he makes the show just crazy fun. That's 1.
Okay.
Number 2 is like will be a GOAT, but I'm gonna call them out as they're still budding and like whatever. But their name is Sam Talent, and he's like headlining clubs all over the place. He is a beast of a comedian. He is just like a funny monster. He wrote a book called Running the Light. It's like a fictional tale about like a road comedian, and it's like he's like a cowboy comedian. It's the book, and it is incredible. So yeah, Sam is just like one of the funniest human beings. He's like storming all over. And number 3, I'm having a tough time. There's just so many comedians. It's like tough to struggle. And putting the caveat of living, I guess that also makes it tough because comedians are always dying. I guess I'll just because it's who got me really into it, but I'll put Jerry Seinfeld as number 3. You know, he's just like been around, done it forever. You know, when he's not dating teenagers, I'm more of a fan of him. But double standards, am I right? Bringing it back. But you know, his comedy and I love the show Seinfeld. It's such a fun like thing to put on in the background. It always like makes me giggle, but you know, he's just like he's another observational person I enjoy because he's so good at calling like things currently happening when it like obviously at that time. But yeah, so I'll put him number 3 just because as no
Dave Chappelle in your top 3.
I mean, Dave Chappelle's great. He's awesome. The Chappelle Show's amazing, but like, you know, his most recent specials just not the kind of back to the beats thing.
Okay.
Kind of just not into the same beats over. My friend made this point out, like, whatever, he just talks about trans people so much. And not that I don't mind it or care that he's doing it. It's just like, if I heard a musician do the same song just with like a little bit of different beats every time on 3 different albums,
every joke was different, and
I
every
understand.
joke was funny as shit. But I get it because it's your opinion, it's your free. So I'm not mad at you.
All right. Sounds like you a little are, but that's okay.
No, I'm not. I just had to fuck with you just a little.
Yeah, of course.
All right, y'all. We got to get out of here. I know we always say 7 to 9, but we always try to end a little bit before 9. You know what I'm saying? Get you out of here. But we do definitely appreciate each and every one of y'all showing up and showing out with us. I always like to say this is the best interactive podcast out because anything you put in the chat, we go talk about. We go read it. You know what I'm saying? So you feel involved. So I definitely appreciate y'all. Tyler, thank you so much for coming to the couch, brother. It's been a long time overdue to have you on the podcast. I appreciate you being on the podcast. Drop your social media so people can follow you.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, thanks for hanging out. So you can find all my stuff. It's at Tyler Tells Jokes. Just at Tyler Tells Jokes. It's the website, it's the Twitter, it's the Instagram, it's the TikTok. All of it's at Tyler Tells Jokes. Yeah, I'm going on the road the next couple of weeks. So Bricktown Comedy Club in Oklahoma City, Thursday through Saturday. Wednesday, I'm at the Westport Funny Bone in St. Louis. And then I'll be in like Little Rock for a couple of days, Wichita, Kansas, Arkansas. We'll be in Oklahoma. We'll be in Texas. We'll be in Arizona. But all that at Tyler Tells Jokes. And if you like sports, you can listen to my I have 2 podcasts, Infield Chatter podcast, and Because They Must. It's with one I do with my girlfriend. She doesn't know anything about sports. So if you don't know anything about sports, come listen to me tell someone about sports that knows nothing about it. Boom. Did them all.
That's hilarious. That's funny. That is hilarious. All right. And again, you can follow Just Therapy, the podcast, just like that. Just Therapy, the podcast on Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. On Twitch is Just Therapy Pod. You can email us at justtherapypod@gmail.com. You can, of course, follow me at Sean Boyd on Facebook. If you're not from Ohio, put in Sean Boyd, Ohio. It'll be a picture of me and Lil Mama. Instagram is SB Comedy. TikTok is SB Comedy 1. Make sure you fuck with us. You know what I'm saying? Because we're here every week. You know, every Monday, 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. And like I said, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and chiming in. We love it. But as you know, here is your close, something you can ponder on until the next time you see us or hear us. And of course, you can hear us on Spotify. Every week, the podcast is up on Spotify. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you check out the old episodes as well. Give it a like, give it a listen, give it a follow. All right, tonight your close is, and then Tyler, you can break this down in your own words. When you don't play about yourself, you don't allow others to play with you either. Yeah, one more time. When you don't play about yourself, you don't allow others to play with you either. If you want to break that down in your words, and we'll get up out of here.
All right. Well, let me just say this. It's been a pleasure being on the show. So thank you so much. And break it down. You know, if you can't dress yourself, then how are you going to let other people dress you? Because if not, you're going to be blue and matching the stage, and you'll be stuck looking like you're camouflage on the funny stop. Okay, that was my best attempt at it. I am not a philosopher. I dropped out of college. So
hey, it's cool. It is self-explanatory anyway. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody play you because you ain't going to let nobody play yourself. So, but no, that's good. Hey, Tyler, thank you so much for coming to the couch, man. You know, we'll talk soon. Make sure you hit me up when you in town.
Will do.
You over to Twisted Tomato Pizzeria, brother.
I'm going.
Yeah, man. All right, couchers. We'll see y'all next week. God willing, we out. I'm taking you home. Peace.
MICAH Beats activated.
Welcome to Just Therapy, where we talk about life with a comedy twist. With your hosts, comedian Sean Boyd, Antonio Ferguson, and Miss KT. We talk about a whole bunch of shit from politics to people actually taking shits. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the therapy session. Man, this be dope. Make a motherfucker want to rap. I can't rap, man. Hold on, here we go. I can't rap. I really can't. But come sit down on the couch with us. Man, I can't rap. Come to the couch. Enjoy the show. Let's go.